Learning sponsors, Martin Lippman and family in memory of his wife Malka Chana Bat Pinchas. Friends of Herb Jeremiah Tzvi Ben Zev. Friends of Sam Coleman Shmuel Ben Yaakov. Friends of Gideon Lazinski Mordechai Shlomo Ben Meir. Bella and David Adler in memory of her father Eliyahu Ben Yosef Cohen. Those who were inspired by our Rebbe Sheila Shapiro. Sarah Esther Malka Bat Meshulam Yusacha. Gail and Leslie Kaplan in memory of their parents. Mushka Sprinzer Bat Yosef Chaim V'Chava. Hanan Ben Moshe Eliezer V'Chana. Pesha Bat Shmuel Yitzchak Alevi V'Tzipora. Isra Ben Yoam Moshe Cohen V'Chana. Rexford Friends of Gladys Sherman. Gutta Bat Meir. Michael Klein and Friends of Judah Klein. Yehuda Tzvi Ben Chaim. Marsha Brana in memory of her husband, Harav Yerachmiel Ben Shmuel. Friends and family of Arthur Ritholtz. Mordechai Yudel Ben Baruch Leib HaKohen. Friends and family of Siggy Bessler, Shalom Shrager Ben Dov. Friends of Marvin Weinstein, Mordechai Ozer Ben Yisrael Aharon. A month of learning by Haran and Mel Haller in memory of her mother, Malka Rachel Bat Yehuda Leib. Judith and Michael Poretsky in memory of her father, Yaakov Yitzchak Ben Hirsch Feivel. Isaac and Eda Novik in memory of his mother, Miriam Gittel Bat Chanoch Henach. Tova and Leo Zimmer in memory of her mother, Henya Bat Rebero. B. Pizer in memory of her husband, Harav Yisrael Chaim Ben David. Rabbi Avi and Lorraine Glatt in memory of Pacey Ackerman's brother, Chaim David Ackerman. A week of learning by Leila Bessler in memory of her father-in-law, Dov Berish Ben Meshulam Shraga Fivish. Oscar and Shelley Moll in memory of his father, Shlomo Ben Yitzchak, and his mother, Rachel Bat Naftali. Marty and Judy Engel in memory of his mother, Etta Sarah Bat Ephraim Fischel Halevi. Lee Hirsko in memory of her father, Yisrael Ben Chaim Tzvi. Judy Iger in memory of her mother, Bela Bat Anshel Yitzchak. Hashem is having a Leah, make a very wealthy, Yeshua Shematzliah, and the full Ben Israel, a good bunch.
Okay, a disclaimer up. I say today's Gemara is not long in words, but it has a lot of tricky pieces and and a lot of arguments about the pieces. I'm going to take one position, and it's most likely that everybody you talk to is going to say something different than what I said to you. But I would just submit to you humbly that what I say to you will be at least reasonable. Okay, they can argue. You argue the arguments. They can definitely argue, but there's some very hard pieces here, actually. Okay. Yeah, we got at the top. Yeah, we're right at the top.
Mm-hmm. 2 lines down.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this piece I'm about to do is quite controversial, and I'm going to give you a way. But it's not under your control. It's like a thief has it. It's yours, but the thief has it. You can't mind this shit. You know, your ownership is somehow less. You own it, but you don't quite own it. You don't have the ability to control. You have the control. Yeah, you don't have the ability to manipulate it. So now I want to tell you something. So you have to listen. There's a thing that they call an orchosor. Orchosor is just a word for authority. You make this guy the authority. There's two ways I can send the person to do a job for me. One, I can make him a shaliach, but then he's simply acting in my place as the action that I could do. He does instead of me. But there's something different that I can do, and I actually make the guy, so to speak, an owner in my place. I actually make him the owner to it. Why is that? Why do I do that? Why do I do it? Because let's say I want to send somebody to I don't know. You're a stranger. You go jump in the lake. What do you want? What do you want for my life? So if I don't make, if I make the guy, I write him a paper and essentially say he owns the thing, that he can go listen. Say no, I'm your litigant. I'm to court. I'm taking it. That thing is mine. Now we're gonna debate to what degree we've given it to him. You understand? But that's this kind of star, okay, where you give a guy authority, or we call here in English they call power of attorney. But I don't even know what power of attorney really is in America. That's why I didn't use it.
Shliach is me.
He's my body. I got my body. I've sent my body. You're my body. You're going. Wait. But what we're talking about here, no, you're gonna. When I go to the guy, he's not merely representing my body. He owns it. That's the point. Why? Because if he doesn't own it, then the guy's going to say to him, "Yeah, I'm not talking to you. Who are you? You're some Chaim Yankel. Get out of here. I don't talk to you." So there's a difference between a shaliach and stuff. I'm saying, no, you own this thing. Now go take care of it and then give it back to me, and then give it back to me. Okay. Right. The Gemara is going to discuss that. He's either full owner or partner. That's right. He's something. So now let's get the point. Now, okay. No, but it's real because it's real. Yeah, it's real. Okay, now Amr Naidoi. So Naidoi wanted to talk about Rav. Lo kasvina orkasa amataltali. Now this is also I'm reading you according to a certain way. It means what you are not allowed to write an orkasa on metaltalin. Okay, my time. Because Rabbi Yochanan's famous principle. If a guy stole an object and impaired, so what? The owner still owns it, but it's not under his control. Either one can make it hekdesh. Right? The thief can't do it because there was no yesh, he didn't acquire it. And the original Baalim can't do it because even though it's theirs, it's not under the control. Now, what did they say over here? Now, Rashi's very confusing here, but it sounds like what I'm going to send the guy. I left a deposit with a guy. And he admits that I left him a deposit. Listen to this, but he's saying what I'm sorry. I have a counterclaim on that object. I have a counterclaim on that object. See, I give him authority to work. I have to give him my thing, but I can't. Why? I can't because I'm stuck. I have no control over it. So what's going to happen? It's going to look like I'm giving it over, and I'm not. And here's what happens: had I really given it over to him, right? Had I really given it over to him? So what would happen? So then. Let's say it got lost. Who would be responsible? The guy who I appointed. But since I didn't really succeed in giving over to him, who's going to be responsible in the end? The holder, and it's going to be. I'm going to do wrong to the guy. In other words, I'm actually hurting the guy because really, what it's going to look like, this guy took possession and he's responsible. He's but you shouldn't do it. Why? Because in the end, you're going to hurt the guy. You're going to think that this guy really took it over and he's responsible. Really, what the original guy remains responsible. He gave in and gave it to the guy. He's out. He's not out. He's still responsible. Okay, that's one. Now, now you see the next one. Some people say Amr Nadoy, and I just said this. Okay, I don't write. Let's say in a case where this is different than what I just said to you. In a case where the watchman says, I never got it. You hear the difference?
Or I no longer.
No. Yeah, but I know. Yeah, as opposed to a counterclaim. Okay. Now we said you can't. You don't write it. Okay. Why is that? Where he says I don't have it. Why? Time of the copy. The whole reason why was the and then it doesn't exist. He's giving something that's not there to his friend. Okay, because he doesn't really have it. Okay, low copy. Right. But the inference is what if the guy didn't deny it? Okay, then you're allowed to do it. Because then you're allowed to write it. But now it sounds like what even though it's not in his. It sounds like what even though it's not in his wishes, which is the problem. That would be against that begins. So let's see if I can just remember. I had a way to say it the other way. Let's see. I'm going to confuse myself. Let's just give me 1 second to think for 1 second. I had a way to say it another way. 1 second. Yes, because since I told you before that the reason I um, and the reason we couldn't do before is why, because he really didn't have the ability to transfer the ownership. Why? It was fighting him. It was like it was like in the hands of a thief. It was out of his control. But over here, say it this way, it will come back that it's not really out of his control because the guy just says he doesn't have it. But nobody is nobody's just holding on to this thing. Therefore, what? If you can run it, because it would be true. That is what I just said is radical. But if you look at the social culture, I think you'll find that I'm supported, at least from I support the same. According to such agree the way. Listen, but I mean, okay, this is another. Steve Bay. Now, when we used to look at this process, when I write paperwork, I'm essentially giving the thing to die. If I write the kind of paperwork, it's a awarded him. He's fighting for his own object. It's not a good orchestra. My time is the reason. Because the reason I do it, because otherwise the person he's going to fight will say, "La bal diad." You're not my litigant. I don't know who you are. You have no what do you call it? Standing. I think it's standing. You have no standing. Who are you? You can't wait. You have to go take me to court. I'm wrong by it. Now, what he does do this way? He says, listen, instead of saying, well, I'm making you the owner, so to speak, he says, listen, I'm cutting you in. You have a third, you have a half third, a quarter. Okay, it doesn't matter. It still works. Why? Because since he can go to court for part of it, okay, Mishai did that fully. He can go to do corporate different. So let's go to court. He can take him to court. So, we don't get away from that. Okay, you don't think away from it. Rav Asham says, well, it came into custody. I said, since he writes, called Misali Medina Kabbalah. I said, no. He says, since the guy writes you a point to listen, and any expense you incur for my court case, I'm going to pay for Shaliach Shavi. He still is not making him 100% the owner. He's still functioning on his payoff as a Shaliach. Okay, and therefore, the second that he gets it, he functions on his own. But the second he gets it, it goes back to the
And in this scenario,
it goes back. Okay, 1 second. It goes back there. Now the Ikadamar, and some people like this, they're like, if he can't hold it back, he knows he did it on that guy's behalf. The Ikadamar, and some people learn like this. Right. Okay, that's the thing. Now. Okay, now we have a very interesting such as orchestra. But it's not quite the,
it's a higher over salary. This guy does.
You know, one thing, you know what? Yeah, one thing, it's believe me, I'll do a little homework and I'll come back. Let's see the full, because honestly, after we have to let's consider what are the full abilities of the Petrovus that we can answer. It's a good point. Okay, I think very interesting question. Okay, Ganaval piece 9 Mishnah says what a guy. This is a wonderful piece, a very abstract and wonderful. Let's say the guy stole. There were 2 witnesses saw him steal, but PM, and the same 2 guys who saw him steal saw him shecht it or sell it. So there's no problem. Oh. And he sold it on Shabbos. Okay. If he stole it and sold it for a purpose of Azar, but he himself was not going to be killed for doing it with Azar. If he stole it and shechted on Yom Kippur, which even though that's a transgression Yom Kippur, remember Yom Kippur, there's no death, there's only Korah, there's no base to death penalty. And according to the standard opinion, the only death by based in do we say what? That he's exempt from monetary payments that occur at the same time, but not Korahs, according to this opinion. Okay, okay, but even he stole it from his father, and then he shechted it or sold it. Then his father died. He was alive. This is very important. Okay. Now, to make something kosher, you have to shecht it l'shem shamayim. So if you shecht it, it's shechted. So, for example, go to Talmud. A guy shechted an animal not to eat it. He shechted it for medicine, for medical purpose. Yeah, we need to. Okay. Because you don't have to shecht l'shem eating. That's the point. L'klavim. You shechted the thing for you're going to give the meat to dogs. Or even this, it's even worse. Not only the stuff is edible, it's still edible, but he doesn't have to want to eat it. Here, if he shechted and it's treifa, it turned out that it was sick and it can't be eaten. Or a guy in these cases, we shechted turned out to be a trait, or we shechted it in the Azar, and it's for no, that's not the sheet. We'll talk about the Torah makes you pay for. Now we have a very interesting point. It's a wonderful thing. We know it's okay. We have two witnesses. A matter is established, but what is a matter? Everything in the world can be broken down to a million other things. It's a big problem. I'll just tell you quickly, and you'll understand. Yeah, you think here? Do you see my face with your eyes? You can say yes, but not exactly. What you really see is you see light, dark, etc. You see those eyes, ears, and then you make. What's a concept? What is a musag? If you would go out into the field, you see the limbs of a tree floating in the air, and there's no trunk. The mind would draw in a trunk because you can't grasp it. So so our minds work in a way. Whenever there's a group of details, we have a million ways. Concepts is the most plentiful thing in the world. Musagim are the most plentiful thought in the world. We have things that. All right, yeah, okay, right, exactly. And we organize things now. Everything can be broken into a million parts. Everything can be broken into a million parts, endlessly. So now, do you see? I say you don't see the face. No, but you see the nose. You don't see a nose. Nose, you see dark light, and your mind puts oh, that's a nose. You don't see this. Every single thing can be. Every gold masher could be trey masher, and every something can be two somethings. There's no end. Now, when the Torah says what the witnesses have to tell about a thing, well, what's the thing? Everything they see is a thing. Okay. On the other hand, is everything they see a legal thing? Is it a complete legal? Is it a legal seeing, or is it a seeing? So what's the problem here? What's the problem? It could come out. Let's say here. So let's take the example that we're gonna the classic example. I'll show you. I'll come back to the mission in a second, but just and they'll make it easy. We'll do it quickly. But yeah, a classic example. You know that if a guy listen, I don't believe, but every witnesses saw me. I've been living in this land for years, and the owner knew about it, and they never did anything. You can see that I bought it. Okay, yeah. But it's not possessional. It's possession to back up. He says I bought it. I can't find the paper. You can't steal somebody's land by squatting on it. There's no such thing. You could squat there for a billion years. You don't own the land. You understand? But if he's just saying my time is true. What? Because I bought it. I'm just the fact that the guy saw me living here the last 3 years. I'm harvesting the crops for 3 years now. So how do I have witnesses of occupation? This is going to come up in tomorrow. 1 second. How do I have witnesses of occupation for 3 years? No, they have to have 2 witnesses to see 3 years. I say no. 2 witnesses saw 1 year. 2 witnesses saw 1 year. 2 witnesses saw 1 year. So I can say to you, what's the difference? Everybody saw occupying. I say no, they didn't, because since occupation is 3 years, nobody's. A legal entity. Does the witness have to, yes. Does he have to see something that we put together, or does the witness have to see the legal of the whole thing? What's the difference? So he saw one, so I have it. Or he said, no, you saw nothing. A witness, you have to see a legal entity, or you didn't see it. I'm communicating. So I can break, I can break everything up into parts. But the question is what? If does every part have to be a legal entity or not? And that's just going to be the debate today. Get ready. Okay.
In our case,
Yeah.
though, it's both, because the theft is a legal entity.
Oh, wait. That's what the Get ready.
Maybe.
Yes. We're going to say like you're saying here. Like you're saying. Here, take a look. Okay, go on up. Okay, take a look. You're going to see. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, now, let's take a look. Says the Gemara. Masni lim. The Rabbi Kiva, because if you want to say the Rabbi Kiva, I can't. Why? Because he said, and the pasuk says, it says that you have to have a matter is established by 2 witnesses. Davar, it has to be a matter. What? It has to be a whole thing, the lochatzi davar, and not half of it. So therefore, what? So over here, what happened? If 2 witnesses saw him steal it, and 2 witnesses saw theft it, so what do you mean? Some whole act of what? Of shechting a stolen thing. Okay. We have this famous argument. Either in one direction, either Rabbi Chalafta went to learn by him. Some people was the opposite. Or the opposite. He went to learn by him. But whoever went to learn by the other, what's the difference? We don't, as long as every part, you're not allowed, I'm not allowed to use my head. I got a brain in my head. So 2 witnesses saw 1, 2 witnesses saw 1. I got a brain. There was 3 years documents here. What do you want my life? That's what he said. That's what he said. Now, that's what he said. Amalei says, he says, you know what? And I agree, but this is where Rabbi Kiva would disagree. Why is that? Because he says, Rabbi Kiva says what? But it's now here you'll see why I gave you the introduction. What do you mean? So Rabbi Kiva's brain is the smartest guy who walked the face of this. Rabbi Kiva could explain every tag, the accoutrement on every letter. He couldn't think. He put it together with his brain. He said no, because God said. He said the Torah said davar below chatzi davar. What fact I put in my mind? I want witnesses to tell me that they saw a transgression, and they didn't see a transgression. They didn't. They have to put it together there. They didn't witness the whole thing. Abaya, so Abaya says no. He says, Abai says no. Even though you're right, in that case, Rabbi Kiva disagrees. But in our Mishnah, Rabbi Kiva could agree. Don't answer the kasha. It's not wrong that our Mishnah didn't say this is only according to one opinion. It's according to everybody. I can tell you, our Mishnah is even according to Rabbi Kiva. Why is that? He says, Rabbi Kiva. Why? Milo Moder Rabbi Kiva. Wouldn't Rabbi Kiva agree? Let's say two guys say, Kidesh, 2 guys say this woman was married to this guy. She's a married woman. She's forbidden to live with another man. And then 2 no value without the 2 witnesses that said she was married. Otherwise, what do you mean? He said he lived with a single girl. What's the problem?
we don't know she's married.
Right, right. So he said, but even there, where Kiva would agree, why? But look, listen, why? Because since the first guys don't need the second guys, okay, why? Here, when they say married, they don't need the guy. In our case of the 3 years, year one needs year 2 and 3. Year 2 needs it. Everybody needs all the other witnesses. When the 2 guys say she's married, you can write it down in Basin. She's married. Write down in the registry. And therefore, as far as we're concerned, there's no more witnessing over here. This woman, she's got to stay. But at the moment, that's it. We've been watching her the whole time. We've been watching her. Now,
Well, she's also not claiming.
you know why I'm laughing? Since I came to America here, so I have to deal with it. I all my life I dealt with Israeli bureaucracy in Israel. When I came to America, all of a sudden I had a new chiddush. I'm going to deal with the bureaucracy from America. I need to be from Israel, from the basin. Oh, they want to know, so they want to know, is this, yes, this person, is this person still single? There was I'm writing back to them. What do you think? I sat and held it since 1962. What do you? They want letters from a rabbi. They want a letter from the rabbi. What do you held their hand? Everybody's chazaka. They got a new thing. A Jew, a kosher Jew, a single Jew, I don't have and let them worry about it. I let them worry about it. They're trying to make me nervous. I make them nervous. I make them anyway. So here's the point: this is established fact. This is established fact. And therefore what? So the davar queen bay is that's already since the first one already called the davar. It's done. Okay. Even though they need the testimony, but they don't. Why? They really don't. They need it in the sense that fact has to be established, but they don't need those witnesses anymore. Their testimony is on a fact. Okay. So long as the Eid Gneva never needed them, it's fine. Okay, davar queen bay. They are considered testifying on a whole legal entity. So he says over here also we'll say by us. Once the witnesses said that this guy had stolen, it's over. It's over. Yeah, otherwise there's no reality over here. There's no reality. Something. That's right. That's the thing. So it's what and that way it's like, gosh, our Mishnah is not remiss in not saying that this is only according to the Chamim and not according to Rabbi Akiva. Not according to Rabbi Akiva. Okay. Now, and now furthermore, okay. Now we have furthermore, Rabbanan do a very good point. But how do the rabbis do? He have a word in the pasuk. It says davar. It has to be a whole thing. So how do the rabbis let him say on half a thing? What do they do with that word? The answer is the mu'ute. Echad Omer Achad Bagaba. There's a lot of ways to read this. Here's what happens. Because when you have 2 witnesses, not 2 sets, when one witness says she has a hair, in order to be called grown up, she has to have 2 hairs. Okay? So the one hair. Two witnesses hairs, no problem. Okay, she's grown up. But one witness saw 1 hair, and one witness saw 1 hair. Even the rabbis say that's what it means. What fancy davar? Not davar. That two witnesses are telling you a fact. I can have 60 witnesses. They can put together 60 facts. But with 2, but if a fact is not known, they have to know that there's 2 hairs. You can't bring up 2 witnesses. 2 witnesses can do it. 2 witnesses can do facts, okay? But 1 witness can't do a fact without the other. That's the difference, he says. That's what the rabbis believe. Okay?
1 year is like 1 year.
That's what we said. But listen, yeah, right. But listen to this. No, or it's like a half. It's hard to make the comparison. It's hard to make the comparison there. But here, listen to this. The Gemara says, "Get out of here! What are you talking about?" He says, "Chetzi davar. That's not half a thing." He says, "Chetzi davar. That's not just half a thing." What is it? Shnayim omrim echa begaba. Here's what happened. Two guys said, well, she has her hair on her knuckle. But when two guys said, well, she has hair on her belly, that's where they agree that even when you have two witnesses,
Still only half of
But if
that.
you
Right.
have two witnesses who say we saw him the first year living there, that would be good.
right. Because now here I want to explain that we have to explain what the problem is. You have to explain what the difference. There's a big difference over it, but it's simply like this. This is everyone in the world argues about how to explain these things. But one way is like this. Here, a year is significant in terms of occupancy. Why? Because it is occupancy, and if it just would continue. That hair, this year is itself the 3 years getting started. But one hair is not the beginning of two hairs. It sounds crazy. One hair is just one hair. If it's there for 1,000,000 years, she's gonna be a katana. She's never gonna grow up. You understand? She's never gonna be grown. A year, if it keeps going, becomes 2 years. That's the one thing. Okay, now. Okay, Amri. Okay, honey, or another one here is like this. Yeah. Yes, that is also. But that's a machlokas, by the way. That's a machlokas. Whether there are allowed to be in different places.
But he's learning.
Yes, that's okay. That it's okay. No, we're learning here that they don't have to be together. No, we don't have to be together. It's just that was just to explain why he saw one and he saw one. That's just explaining why the physical why they couldn't see it together. They have different vantage points. They didn't see the hairs together. Hani, okay, Amri Khanani, or let's say here, two guys say she is so because what's happening? When two guys see one hair, what's really happening? These guys are saying she's a minor. Bahani Amri Katane, these guys are saying what? She's a minor. Two guys say what? We saw hair. She's not grown up. Two guys saw hair. They say what? She's not grown up. They're testifying. It's like each one is testifying that she. They're not testifying. Put it together. They're saying she's a minor. They're saying she's a minor. That's what she saw. It's a hard problem. Remember, we don't even know that they are testifying in knowledge of the others. When they come and say we saw one hair, she's not grown. Okay. Okay. Now we said if a guy, everybody knows the principle. You know that when it comes to death penalty, if a person incurs a death penalty at the same time as a monetary penalty, we don't collect the money. We kill him and we don't make him pay. Okay, but Shabbos, we said if he stole and he sold on Shabbos, okay, he sold on Shabbos, etc. He has to pay 4 and 5. So we said, hi, Tanya, didn't we learn in the Raisa Potter that if he stole and sold on Shabbos that he's Potter? Why is that? Why is he Potter? Why is he exempt? He's not going to get killed. He's not going to get killed. Yes, selling is not Issa Deraisa. If he shechted, it's another story. Amar he says what? Kitanya, that price that said that he's exempt on the 4 and 5. So as he takes the date, that's when the sale goes through, and he's been Mechal Shabbos as he sells the animal, which is 4 5. He also Mechal Shabbos because as he collects the money, that obligates him to give. He's picking the date. No, the owner, the Ganav says, "I'm selling you an animal on Shabbos."
That's
No. The thief is the thief. The buyer says, "Listen, for pay, go take a date from my tree. Go take a date." So the thief, as he is a thief, he at the same moment that he sells it to be Chai 4 and 5 is being Mechal Shabbos because he's picking a date to get payment. As he gets the payment, he has to give him the cow. So, right, got to be close. You see, so that's why he's exempt. So the price was our mission is talking about a case that if you okay. A fig. I said a date. It's a fig. It's a fig. It's a fig.
the same halacha.
Same halacha with a fig. Yeah.
Next day.
No, then it won't. Yeah, he won't get killed. He won't get killed on Shabbos. No, it's a fig, Babos. I said I got dates on my head. It's a fig. Okay, particularly he says, so you pick a fig and I will have the stolen object, the stolen thing. Okay, now the Gemara says, well, Amr said, one second. He says, how can you explain the brisa that way? That doesn't make any sense. But came in the kitabele kaman bedina. Okay, since what? That if the buyer would now come to the seller and say, listen, I'm sorry, you're going to be killed on Wednesday, but before you give him we don't say that he has to go pay it back. Okay, the time not sure why because he's fighting for his life. Since he doesn't have to deliver them, then there's no sale. So okay, so there's no reason. You're right that he doesn't have to pay the 4 and 5. But there's no novel point. He's not paying the 4 and 5 because of what? Because he's getting killed. He's not paying the 4 and 5 because he never sold it. The sale never went through. Since he's exempt from delivering, the sale's no sale. So he never sold it. Yeah, because why? Because since he has to be killed, the guy has no right to claim the cow. And if he can't claim the cow, there's no sale.
Simultaneously.
Yeah, he ruined the sale. You're saying that he's exempt. Why? He's exempt because he's getting he's exempt because there's no sale. Since the guy can't collect, there's no sale. El Omra, Papa said, Papa says, don't worry. And I'll acquire it there. So what's going to happen? Particularly okay, and that's the way you're going to do it. So what's happening? Of course, he's carrying from public domain to private domain. So as he's making he's being Mechal Shabbos. He's Mechal Shabbos. Okay, now, even that Gemara says, 1 second. That's a big finish. Why? Because we have a famous argument between the rabbis and Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Kiva holds Kaluta Kun Chadamia. He holds what? That the second that a thing enters the airspace, it's as if it's on the ground. Remember, on Shabbos, to go from one domain to another or to carry 4 amos in a public domain, you have to pick it up and you have to put it down. You have to put it down. So now,
is before.
Well, 1 second, you're ahead of me. 1 second. Include commission chadamia means what? The second something enters the airspace is if it's down. Come on, Rabbi Kiva. So in order to say that everything happens simultaneously, because I have a problem. Remember, airspace of a yard. How far does it go?
To the moon.
To the moon. That's I'm outside a lot with my shotgun. If I have a backyard, I sit outside with a shotgun when the airplanes come. I tell them stop. I'm going to shoot you down. And I write letters to Spirit Airlines and to United Airlines. I said I want paper to go over my backyard. Okay, but so what happens is when does the transfer of ownership take place? The second it enters what? Now the question is, what about Shabbos though? In order to be Machal Shabbos, you have to have Hanacha. So that's very good according to Rabbi Kiva holds what that when you're in the airspace, it's on the ground. So it happens at the same time. But if I hold that you're not on the ground until you're on the ground, then I have a problem because the second you enter the airspace, what happened? The sail went through, and only later, 1 second later, when it hits the ground, did he break the Shabbos?
Then it's not simultaneous.
Excuse me, one second. Yeah, excuse me. So the thing is like this. So I have a problem. If I hold like Rabbi Akiva, I understand. And if I hold like Rabbi Akiva, who holds that it happened at the same time, okay. So then, so since when it goes to the Erev Shabbos, it's as if it went down. So it comes out that the second that he was chayav misa, for going into the private domain, okay. Also the sale took place because it went into the air. The Ikar Rabbana, he said, that's all fine. That's according to Rabbi Kiva. But the Ikar Rabbana, if you hold like the rabbis, came in the Macha Lachasar Beso, since when it got to the airspace of his courtyard, kind of the sale already went through. So the monetary obligation for 4 and 5 already happened. Lenient Shabbos lemechayev adamatar, but he's only going to be chayev on Shabbos when it hits the ground. So therefore, what is he? So therefore, what? Okay, so it's okay. So therefore, well, according to the rabbis, it's not true. He won't be exempt because the monetary obligation happened before the death obligation. The answer is don't worry, he's still exempt. But Omer, even according to the rabbis, they say lo tikni lignizu sechat tenuach. He says no. He says I'm not going to acquire it until it actually hits the ground, and therefore until it's the ground. So then both the Chil Shabbos and the sale happened at the same time. And thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Today, every line of this page is an argument. Everybody in the world argues this page. Yeah, every line here, every line. These pages are massive.
But the bottom line, the price, the bottom line.
Yeah.
We've defended the price. The price is such a narrow.
Yes. Yes.
Doesn't make sense.
Yes. Well, you have to know a lot of times. It takes the strangest case.
This is one of the more weird.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be a flying goal.